Now, how do you use this with the X32 mixing station? For me, it works for me because in church we handle most of our mixes. Okay, we don't have a sound guy, so we do everything. So what we are going to do is that for the mixing station, the X-Touch Mini works best in the marquee control mode. So I'll switch it back to the marquee control mode. All right, then I'll open the X32 mixing station. Now there are some settings you're supposed to do. I'm running this in offline, okay? So I'll go to offline and then the thing loads. Now, in the app, you are supposed to activate the MIDI support. So you go to settings, you come to MIDI, and then you activate the MIDI support, okay? It works best also for phones, but the X32 mixing station on the phones, you need the pro versions of which you're supposed to pay. But I know you're not going to pay, so you're not going to have it. So I'll activate this and I'll come to the MIDI and I'll add a new device, okay? So here, I'm supposed to select my X-Touch Mini, okay? I'm not seeing it here, which means it's not going to be controlled. It's disconnected. I'm still going to have that. So offline, settings, this is on X-Touch. Now I have my X-Touch Mini, okay? So you can go back and check the settings, device setup. So anytime you want to make sure the X-Touch Mini is connected, the settings is that you come here and then these are the devices that can be connected to the X32 mixing station, okay? And then with which mode. So right now we are using the X-Touch marquee control unit, okay? And then these, you must make sure the input and output has been selected as the Behringer X-Touch Mini. I hit apply. Then I'll go into the functions of the device. If I want to know if these devices are working, I hit find control, and then I can hit each function to check if they are working, okay? So these functions are showing up here. So you can see on the right-hand side of the page, if I hit this, so this is shown as the loop, which is the channel 1 with the value 59, and then we have no functions or actions on the right side. Okay, so I would want to add a function to this. So with the functions, you have the touch, click, long click, momentary, and then momentary inverted. So I want to do the touch. You hit on add action on the touch, and then what function do I want that particular key or that particular function to do? I'd want to have a mute on or mute off of a particular channel. So I hit the main, and then either mute or on. Now, this is where the action type comes in. You can select a particular channel. Let's say channel 1 on the board. I'll just want this particular control to just mute that particular channel. Or I'll just want this to control any channel I open. So I'll keep this as a current channel and I'll make sure it's active. Right now it's active. Now I'll go back. Now on the board, this is channel 1. If I open this and I hit this, you can see it's being muted. If I go to channel 2, muted, channel 3, muted. I want to skip channel 4 and come to channel 5. I'll hit this. It has muted channel 5 because I was in channel 5 before I got out of it. If I hit it back, it's just going to unmute it. Okay. So in church, let's say my mix is on, let's say bass 4 or let's say bass 3. I can still make this device move the page to that bass and I can control. Now, in the marquee control mode, which is the standard mode, these buttons sometimes control the panning and then the fading, okay? So let me go back to the MIDI section and show you how this thing is actually working. New device, apply. Let me disconnect the USB. All right. New device. The Behringer X-Touch Mini, apply. Marquee control mode. So great. So I'm having these things. Okay. So right now I'd want this particular knob to move the page into my mix. Okay. Now on the default, you can see like I said, in the default mode, these things are controlling the panels, the feeders on the pan. All right. Naturally, for the channel 1 to 8, these things are going to control the panel or the feeding. So right now, what if I would want this knob to just control the feeders instead of just using the panel? That is where the specific functions comes in. So you can just specify all those functions as a user. Okay, so I'll go back to the settings, go to the MIDI. In the settings, I'll just find a controller. So I'll hit this knob, and I want to add the action to the knob. Now, I want the page to move from where it is to the sense on fader. Okay, so let's say I'm on bus 1, but let me put on bus 4. Okay, I'll go back. If I hit this knob, you can see bus 4 has been selected. And I can still add a function to this same knob. So supposedly, I just want to use this particular knob to just go through each of the buses. I'll still do that. What I'll do is that I'll go to settings again, MIDI, find that controller again, and then let me add another action. So in find controller again. Yes, go in and edit. So I'm going to make this device move on between those buses. So you can see it's going into each buses. And it goes on and on and on. So I can just use one particular knob to just go through all these buses. And then use the knobs to control whether it's a fader or a panel. So this is how to use the X-Touch Mini to control or to do remoting with your DAWs, whether the FL Studio Cubase, Ableton Live, and the X32 Mixing Station. And then with the advanced form, which is the MRSP, you can use this to connect directly to the digital consoles, and you can even use this to control the board. So it has been a nice time with you. If you have any questions, you might ask. If you have any questions, you can ask. I don't know if...
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so nneɛma na yɛakyerɛ no adeɛ bi a wɔ sɛ wohu fa X-Touch no ho biara no ɛna yɛakyerɛ mu sabre yi nti ɛnɛ yɛakyerɛ the full board yɛakyerɛ mini no ɛnso but adeɛ baako a na ɛha yɛ paa wombɛbusa question o yɛwie na wokɔfa kyire maka examine na me manage no ntu so fa me so ansa no nti ɛno nso ɛde asɛm ba